Okay. Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Dr. Cruz from Design Your Destiny with Dr. Cruz. So I have Facebook and I have Instagram and I have YouTube going. So wish me luck. So I want to talk today about manifesting. So I had an experience today about manifesting and I wanted to share it with you all because every time I manifest something, it really blows my mind. I don't know why I'm so surprised every time I manifest something because I'm really great at it, and I do it, and I don't think I really know that I'm doing it. You know what I mean? And so when it happens, I'm like, holy crap, it worked again. So I kind of shock myself, even though I know that I've done it, tons of times before. And so I want to share with you all what happened today, right? So I'm going to share with you the story of what happened today. And then I'm going to share with you some things I've already manifested in my past. And then I'm going to kind of break down the steps of what I recollect happened each time that I manifested. So that, I know there's a ton of videos out there about manifesting, but it seems like all the videos come from, an intellectual, synopsis of what manifesting is. And it's not necessarily in the moment when someone has manifested something, right? So that's what I'm offering you all today, that this actually happened to me a couple hours ago. I was at school. So as many of you know, I'm getting certified as a hypnotherapist. I'm already done with my academics. I'm in my residency. So I'm constantly in certification programs. So I'm getting certified as a handwriting analyst, which is part of my hypnotherapy certification. And so today I went to a training also. And in this training today, they were giving away prize. It wasn't really it was a training, but it wasn't like a particular topic per se. It was more of a conglomeration of topics. And they were giving away some prizes for the new year. And so as my mentor was actually a teacher. And so as she was giving away, the names in a bowl, and they were picking out names. And as the programs were being reviewed of what they were giving away, certification programs, I was thinking which ones I wanted to, to win. And so the first one was like a certification helping people with fears and anxieties. And I really wanted that one because, everybody experiences fear and anxiety on some level, right? So I didn't win that one, even though I wanted it. And so the same thing happened for like the next 3 or 4 of them. I was like, oh, that's the one. I'm going to win this one. So I wasn't thinking about manifesting. I was just excited. I was like, I want to win that one. And then I didn't win them, right? 3 or 4 of them. And then something in my mind, right? So I'm a huge believer in the subconscious mind. I've reprogrammed my own subconscious mind over the years. I understand the power of the subconscious mind. It's why, I'm still a psychotherapist, but I added on hypnotherapy as a certification because hypnotherapy works directly with the subconscious mind. And so my subconscious mind kind of popped in a thought appeared in my mind. And the thought said, I heard it as it kind of showed up. It said something like, it didn't say expectation, but it said something to the effect of it said something to the effect of release the expectation of winning and just know that the perfect program for you will be the one that you win. So that was the gist of the thought that I had. And if you've ever experienced a thought like that, you know it happens very quickly. And if you're not, mindful, if you haven't trained yourself to be mindful of when these thoughts pop up, then you won't catch them, right? So you have to kind of train yourself to become mindful of your thoughts as they occur. And on a side note, if you have thoughts that pop up that you don't like, you can rebuke them, reject them, delete them. There's different ways. Just get rid of the thought. Don't acknowledge it. Say, that's not my thought. What I say is, I rebuke that thought by the blood of Jesus. That's not my thought. And I just throw it away and I move on, because my faith is so strong spiritually. I'm unaffected by, negative thoughts that just pop in my head. So because I've trained myself to be aware of these thoughts that just show up, I was aware when my thought process shifted, right? So I went from, I want this program, and I'm thinking to myself, that's the program I want, that's the program I want. And when I realized I wasn't getting the ones I wanted, my thought process said, release your expectation and just know that you will win the program, the certification that's right for you. And I felt like an inner peace in that moment. I was like, yeah, that's a great idea. Cool. So that's what I did. And I continued to be extremely happy, and I made myself conscientious of the fact that I should be very happy for the winners, because they were all great certification programs. If I could have won them all, I just won them all. But, we could only win one. So I was very happy. I was clapping. I was very happy for the people that won. And second to the end, I won a certification called Healing the Child Within. And when they called my name, it just was kind of all consuming, because that is, out of all of the programs they were offering, that really is the perfect program for me, because I work as a therapist and a hypnotherapist, a psychotherapist and a hypnotherapist. And, I'm a public speaker. And, I just help. My goal, my calling in life is to help people process their trauma, their pain, to shift their subconscious mind, and to learn how to create the life for themselves that they want to create. And the reason people struggle with that oftentimes, more times than not, is because they have inner child issues, right? Our issues from childhood manifest in adulthood. So until we can solve the problem from childhood, it's very difficult for someone to truly be emotionally healed and mentally, focused on how to create their future, because the baggage of their childhood, hey JW, the baggage from their childhood is still screwing them up, right? Emotionally, anger, resentment, blame, all this stuff from childhood, abuse, trauma, anger, regret, whatever people go through in childhood, if it hasn't been processed, it's going to replicate itself in some way, shape, or form in adulthood. And that's why so many people have drug and alcohol issues. They marry the person that they don't really want to be married to, because something has been replicated from the family unit in the childhood, right? So the point is, I manifested, just like my thought said, I manifested and won the certification program that was perfect for me. So for those that just jumped in, like JW, I was saying that I was in a class today. They were giving away free certification programs for hypnotherapy. And the ones I wanted, I was like, I want it. This is the one I want to win this one. I wasn't winning them. And then I had a thought, it just came to me, and it said, release the expectation and just know that you will win. My thought's telling me, you'll win the certification that's perfect for you. And so the one that I won is called Healing the Inner Child Within, or something like that, which is perfect for me for the work that I do with people in therapy. So I was so inspired, I said, I got to go home and make a video, right? So that's what I'm doing. This is not the first time I've manifested something, but every time I manifest something, I'm always shocked as if it's like the first time. I'm like, holy shit, that worked, you know? Like, it's magical. It feels magical. It's like, you know? So I wanted to share some other things that I've manifested before in hopes to really inspire you. And I'm going to give you some steps on how to manifest your own stuff outside of the story I just told you. Because number one, it works. Number two, you know, I believe in it because I've seen the results. And number three, a lot of people are overridden by self-doubt and negativity and disappointment and just like a humdrum personality from their mindset. And if we're not conscientious of, you know, what kind of mindset we have and how it affects us on a physiological level, and if we're not aware of what negates manifestation, then we can never, you know, make any progress toward manifesting the kind of life that we actually want, right? So my phone is recording Instagram Live, but I wrote some things down that I have manifested in the past. So when I was in Okinawa last year, I manifested a couple things. I manifested a keyboard, like a piano keyboard. I manifested a blue stone necklace. So I'll tell you the stories behind those very quickly. The blue stone necklace, I had an outfit, and I recalled I had a blue stone necklace previously that would have went perfect with the outfit I purchased. And so I just brought it to my attention that I wanted that necklace again. And it's a feeling, it's some kind of feeling that gets created, right? And then I went about my business. I wasn't like overwhelmed with the thought, like, I gotta have this necklace. It wasn't anything like that. It was just, I was emotionally connected to this idea that this necklace would be perfect for my outfit. And so, you know, I went on my way. When I was in Okinawa, I did a lot of thrift store shopping. I love thrift stores. And so it's really fun. It's like scavenger hunting, right? Like you find these little treasures in thrift stores. And so like a week later, maybe 2 weeks later, I was in a thrift store, and as I was walking upon the glass thing where, you know, the jewelry was, there was a necklace with the blue stone, exactly how I had envisioned it, and it was exactly as my previous necklace looked, right? So boom, there it was. I manifested it, right? The piano that I manifested, the keyboard, it wasn't really a piano, it was a keyboard on a stand. And so when I got to Okinawa, I said, this will be a great time for me to take piano lessons because I've always wanted to learn the piano. And so I was working abroad for a year and I had some time. So I was really emotionally connected to that idea also. And I went around and I was looking for, places where I could train, finding me a music teacher and finding me a keyboard piano. And so, you know, it's on the top of my mind and I was looking for it. And then one day, I went into a thrift store, and it wasn't really a thrift store. It was more like a Walmart, you know, like in Okinawa, their version of Walmart. And boom, there it was. When I walked to the music section, and it was only a section like maybe, I don't know, 10 feet by 10 feet. And right in the middle, this is how manifesting has worked in my life. Just like the necklace, the piano, it's right there in front of me. It just shows up. It's actually pretty incredible. It just shows up, and it's so obvious that you can't miss it. You know what I mean? Or I couldn't miss it. The necklace was so obvious. It was boom, right there in front of me. And when I say right there in front of me, I mean right there in front of me. Like when I walk upon it, boom, it's right there. It's an incredible experience when you manifest something. So there was the piano. It was sitting right there on the stand, the keyboard on the stand. There was drum sets over here. There was guitars over here. There was other stuff back there. But right in front of me, in the middle of the 10 by 10 area, was my keyboard. And it blew my mind. I was like, holy shit, there's my keyboard. The thing I had envisioned, because I knew what I needed. I needed it on a stand and all that, right? So I manifested that. Something else, I've manifested people back into my life. That took about a decade or so, like 10, 12 years, but the person came back into my life. A nonprofit. So I had no idea. I wanted a nonprofit. I had no idea how I was going to get a nonprofit. It's a very confusing process. Even to find the right lawyer to open a nonprofit, it's just complicated. The whole shebang is complicated. But I was really wanting a nonprofit. And so it was about, I guess, a year. So it wasn't top of mind because I had written and published my first book, From Foster Care to Fabulous, an Imperative Movement. So I was really preoccupied with that. So the thought of now I need a nonprofit was there, but it wasn't a priority. And I think that's why it took so long to show up. But it was very beautiful. What happened was I saw an article written, I don't know, somewhere. And so I contacted the journalist that wrote that article. And I said, so the article was written on a foster care alumni. I'm a foster care alumni. That means we grew up in foster care. And he was a very successful, wealthy foster care alumni. So I wanted to interview him. I wanted to not really like technically interview him, just talk to him, meet him, rub elbows or whatever. So I got in touch. His secretary made an appointment for us, and we were talking. He's an entrepreneur. I'm not a natural born entrepreneur. So he let me know that we probably would not, see each other again. He's like, I'm very busy. I have to be very judicial and, just what's the word I'm thinking of? Careful with how he spends his time because he's got a big corporation to run, right? So I respected it and no big deal. So as we're walking out, I say, hey, by the way, do you know somebody that can help me open my nonprofit for foster kids? I don't even know if I said for foster kids, but I said for, open my nonprofit. And he said, yeah, I'll talk to my lawyer and don't worry about it. I'll take care of it for you. I was like, what? What? So, boom. He called his lawyer and he paid for my nonprofit and the lawyer did the paperwork and everything. And 6 weeks or 8 weeks later, I had a nonprofit. So I manifested a nonprofit. So I really want to encourage you all to understand that it's real, it's possible for you, and have fun with it, right? Anything you want in life, you can manifest, right? It's not like, it's not like, don't take it for granted, like, oh, I want this, and then, don't treat it haphazardly. Don't disrespect the process. Really believe in the process if you're going to do it. It's not an intellectual thing, okay? But it is a partnership between your subconscious mind and your spirit. It is very much a partnership, right? So something else that I manifested was 2 homes. I manifested 2 homes. I manifested meeting a singer at a concert. So I went to see Shaggy at a concert in Okinawa. And I said to my girlfriend, we're going to meet him after the concert. And I just was emphatic about it. I was like, we're going to meet Shaggy. We're going to hang out with him after the concert. And lo and behold, after the concert, we had no idea. I had no idea that he was taking pictures afterwards, that he was giving out T-shirts. He was doing that whole thing. I had no idea. And lo and behold, afterwards, we were walking out, and I happened to look over to my right, and I saw him in a distance. And, he had a backdrop and everything. And I was like, holy crap. I was like, girl, to my girlfriend, right? I was like, girl, that's our opportunity. Let's go meet him. And so that's what we did. We went over there and we met him, and, you know, the rest is history. The two homes. So there was a house that I wanted to buy in Atlanta. And I was working really hard to get this house. I had become a realtor. I still am a certified, or whatever they call it, realtor. I'm not an active realtor, but I had gotten, you know, licensed is what they call it. You're a licensed realtor. So I was a licensed realtor, and I was researching the properties that were available when I found this house I wanted, and I put it under contract, and something happened with the seller's realtor, and the house fell out of contract. And I was so disappointed because I really, really, really wanted this house. It had a pool. It was one level. I wanted a one level house, and it was in the ideal community for me. I knew I wanted to live in, what was it called? Oh my God, I forget. I don't know. Yeah, I forget. But it was in Marietta somewhere, up East Marietta or something. I forget what it's called. I don't know. But anyway, so it was the perfect house for me. And so it fell out of contract, right? And I was devastated. I was so devastated because I had worked so hard financially getting my stuff together, finding the property. I was working on my PhD the same time I was getting licensed as a realtor. So I was like putting all this work in. You know, I was really invested in my career and my future and buying this house. And I was devastated when the house fell out of contract. And I just had this breakdown. I had a miniature breakdown, and I just started crying my eyes out. And I remember I was living in a one-bedroom apartment with my dog, and I was miserable because, you know, who wants to live in a one-bedroom with you know, I had two dogs. And I was like, man, I got to get out of here, right? But I knew it was temporary. It was just somewhere for me to stay while I was working on my PhD, so I could be in isolation and just really, really study. And so I was like crying, and I was like, I just had a heart-to-heart with God. And I was like, you know, I was pissed. I don't remember exactly what I said, but I was pissed. But I said, God, if you want me to be happy in this disgusting one-bedroom apartment with my two dogs, then I'm going to be happy in this one bedroom with my two dogs. And there was an energetic shift inside of me. I released all resistance to losing the house. And I just really remember coming to peace with the whole situation. You know what I mean? And about 3 days later, it was three, I don't know, maybe it seems like it was 3 days later, maybe it was a week later. It wasn't long at all. The guy, they had already put the house under contract with someone else, the next buyer. So 3 or 7 days later, whatever, the owner calls me and he says, do you still want my house? And I was like, yeah. So the house came back to me, and I am a true believer. I really believe that the house came back to me because I had set the intention of buying the house, and then I released my grip on how it should show up to me. You know what I mean? The way I thought it was going to show up was I'm going to go out and buy it. And when that didn't work, it re-showed up a different way for me. So that was incredible, manifesting. And then I had to move from that house a year later. And I knew I wasn't going to stay in Georgia. So I didn't want to buy another house, but I wanted to stay in the same community. And I went to get my nails done. What I wanted was a rent-to-own home. And I wanted a house that was for sale or rent-to-own home. And just in case I changed my mind and I wanted to stay. And so I went to get my nails done, and I was talking to the Asian guy, and, we're just chit-chatting, and I said, I really want a rent-to-own home, and I need it in this community. God, it's so weird, I can't remember what the name of the community was, but, and he said, go down this street. It was a main street. He said, go down this street, and about 3 blocks away on your left, you're going to see a home that's a rent-to-own home, and it's 1 level, because that's what I wanted, 1 level home. There it was. And so I applied, I got accepted, and boom, that was my next home. And that all happened within a couple of weeks, because the owner of the first home that I manifested, he went into foreclosure. So I had to move in a hurry. And so I manifested the second house like within a week or something, maybe 10 days. So that was incredible. And each time I'm telling you, I'm like, how does this shit work? It keeps working for me. This is fascinating, right? Then the first time I wanted to make $10,000 a month in income, I manifested that. And that was mind-blowing because I actually ended up making over $10,000, maybe like $10,400 or $600 a month. But it was so close to $10,000 a month, which was my goal, that it was mind-boggling because it was exactly what I asked for. You know what I'm saying? So when what you ask for actually shows up, that's the proof that the manifesting works, because it's not something similar or something different that's showing up. It's the exact thing I'm asking for, right? Then the program today, and that's all I have written down. But there's been so many things. There's been so many things that I've manifested, and I'm going to continue to manifest, right? And I want to encourage you all to continue to manifest yourself, or believe that you can. If you've never manifested, really research it and get into it, because it is your subconscious mind working for you. So I am a Christian, and I believe that just like my daughter has my DNA, I have the DNA of my Creator, right? And so I don't think I'm God, but I think I do have some godlike abilities. And one of those godlike abilities is manifesting, right? It's me working as a spiritual being, working with my Creator, which is that which created the universe and everything in it. And so to me, it's a partnership. That's how I look at manifesting, right? It's not, in the flesh, it's like the will. The will wants to work, right? I will myself to get up every morning. I will myself to go to the gym. I will myself to achieve certain goals. But manifesting is not the will. It's not the flesh. It's something different, right? So I wrote down, set the intention. This is what I recall doing today in class. Set the intention. My intention today was I wanted to win one of those certification classes so I could save the money, right? Get it for free. And then, so before I say this, if you all have any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat box, and then I'll answer them for you. So set the intention, right? So I went in, I set the intention, I wanted the certification, increase the feeling, like get excited about it. Like, yeah, I'm not hyper. It's not about having a hyper energy. It's just about certainty. As a matter of fact, yeah, this is what I want. This is what I'm going to get. This is what I'm looking for. That kind of thing, right? Detach from the expectation. Even though you've set the intention and you do have an expectation, you release it, right? It's not like so remember, in the flesh, we're thinking, I want this. I got to make it happen. That's the will. The will wants to interject. But when it comes to manifesting, it's not about the will, because it's not you and the flesh that's making it happen. It's your intention in partnership with some spiritual law of the universe that's working, right? Which they call the law of attraction, which is based in physiology, not physiology, in physics, right? So So detach from the expectation and just keep the emotion of it, you know, that this is something I want. And just say to yourself, like, so for me, my thought said to me, release the attachment to the expectation and just know that the perfect course for you, that you'll win the perfect course that's for you. And then I won the perfect course that was for me. It just happened, right? So that's my manifesting victory story for today. I wish you all the best. You know, life is about us really empowering each other and sharing our victories and sharing our stories. It's not about hating on each other for the things that we get. It's about sharing the details. It's about sharing the experience so that we can inspire each other, so that we can let other people know that, hey, what happens for me can happen for you, right? Even this apartment I live in Hollywood, I think on some level I manifested it. But I won't go into details about that right now. But, you know, it's just, it's magical. And if you are open to it, it can. All right. So I'm Dr. Cruz with Design Your Destiny with Dr. Cruz. And I'm the author of Maximize Your Superpowers. If you don't believe you have superpowers, you won't have superpowers. But if you believe you have superpowers, then things start happening for you, right? It is a balance. It is a partnership. Please remember this. It's a partnership between your mind and your spirit, okay? For the people that only work from the mind, they don't believe a lot of things, because if the mind can't believe it, then the mind can't conceive it, right? You have to believe first in the thing that you want to achieve. So get connected to your physiological spirit and figure out what it is that you believe so that you can experience the wonders of the world. Okay? All right. It's nice talking to you all. If you have any questions, just, message me or whatever, and I'll answer them later, okay? All right. Good night.